Hey guys and girls, BJ and GameDay back for another week. Into finals time. I've got Brent, I've got Bogan. Boys, how are we? Fucking awesome. This is working. Hampton, where are you?
It's working well.
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm good.
We've got
I'm
no
good.
echo.
How are you?
Fucking hell. It
No
wouldn't be
echo,
BJ.
no sound. And then Bogan just fucking can't talk when he's queued. Dead set. Amateur hour.
Have we got sound?
Yeah, nah, I'm saying we're just baby steps. We got sound. We don't have echo.
Yeah.
We just need
Boys.
us to talk.
Yeah.
Mate, we need an off season. That's what we need. We're done for the year, I tell you. It's tough. COVID's taking it out of us. How did we go last week, boys?
It seems to be.
12:54 for myself, Joshy. Fuck me dead, Bogan.
Oh,
Jesus
well,
fucking Christ.
fucking talk then. It's fucking hell.
Well, I've probably gone the worst. I'll start with me. I got 12:54.
Oh, I went the worst.
Oh, Teddy got, more than a quarter of my score, so that wasn't any good. I had Rami in. That stung. I looped Teddy, so had to drop someone, but dropped 280 spots, still embedded in the top 6.5K, so look out. What about yourself, boys?
It seems I'm fucking destined to score fucking 1230 every week. So, if I could do it throughout the whole season, I might be in a good spot. But, yeah, 1237.
Mate, good week for me. Obviously, Captain Teddy straight up, 1354. But that said, look, I think, just after that game, a lot of the projections out there were pretty high. I think at one stage I was sort of over 1,500 or mid-1500s. Unfortunately, couldn't quite finish off the weekend that strong, but still Green Arrows up to 5,009. So 9 spots outside the top 5,000. It's just a long journey up. I thought by some time this year I'd crack into the top 1,000, and I think my team's been pretty strong, a fair way out, but it's just a lot of people with the same kind of teams, and it's just hard to make that ground. So, mate, I think last week there we spoke about being top 10,000 and how good that was. I think maybe that is a good goal this year. There's a lot of players that are performing quite well in Supercoach. I know a lot of our followers and a lot of the boys in the leagues and that, they're playing quite well. And, these are leagues where we probably would have been top 1, 2 or 3 in the past few years. And now we're sort of sitting 4th, 6th, 8th, whatever it may be. So she's a bit tougher this year.
Well, I think averages as well, Josh. I think I might be averaging near 1,200, and I'm, like I said, top 6K. So it's a big scoring year. I can only assume it's this rule change. A bit more attacking stats, a bit more, defending, and game time, I guess, with the ball in play. So I can only assume that's been the difference. But yeah, plenty of blokes doing well, which is good to see. 4 rounds to go. Head-to-head final start this week. So, if you've had a bit of a shocker in Classic, overall you can maybe turn your attention to head-to-head and possibly looking at some of those weekly fixtures from here on in. Otherwise, full steam ahead for Classic. Try and pull that ranking in as much as you can in the next 4 weeks, mate. You can still salvage it if you can finish the year strong.
Yeah, mate, look, unfortunately, obviously, with minor premierships and finishing and things like that last week, a few of my cash leagues didn't go to plan, but still in there in the finals for a few of them in that sort of top 4, so second chance in a couple, which is nice. G'day to the boys at home. We've got Gomez, we've got Kano, we've got a few of the lads there tuned in, which is good. Mate, we'll run on to the games from there last week. Folks, who do we have first up, mate? Mighty Rabbitohs. Wow, what a shellacking. Look, I was pretty happy with this one. I brought in Cody Walker a couple of weeks ago there, and pre-updates, I think he was about 123, but unfortunately the update guides weren't too kind to him, and he dropped down to 102. Still nice to get that ton up, but unfortunately dropped a few points there. Mate, Hampton, I watched glimpses of this game. I was playing pool at the time, so. What happened? The Eels. I thought they were probably the strongest to come home into the off season with not really any injuries, but they were miserable.
Yeah, they were ordinary as well, especially after they beat a depleted Melbourne side the week before. But they went into this game, the best defensive side in the comp, and it was 22-0 at half-time. They had Corey Allen on one wing, Jackson Paulo on the other. I'm thinking Sivo's up for a field day here. He's going to run all over. I think it was Masters and Paulo, but Masters made Jennings look like, the rookie. And on the other side, it was Wanga Blake putting Fergo under all sorts of pressure on every play by running in. So, yeah, I don't know what it is at Para. They've got a bit of soul-searching to do. A few weeks till finals. Dylan Brown obviously went down as well in that one, so it's a pretty big loss for him. Looks like he'll be gone till finals with syndesmosis, 6 weeks or so. It'll be interesting to see how Para bounce back. I still think they've got a good enough squad that they can do some damage in finals. Maybe this is what they needed, but I definitely didn't see this one coming. Supercoach-wise, mate, Adam Reynolds, 123, looks to be having one of his best years for a while as well.
And he scored -4 2 weeks ago, so I don't know about years, but he's definitely got some game. Obviously, we know that it's just really hard with him and that consistency with the bunnies, I guess.
It's definitely...
And big news coming out of this one with Latrell going down. He'll be gone for the season. He just started looking good, so he would have burnt plenty of owners, obviously, with that. Would have hurt because he was on 60-odd
last week
when he went off, so he was looking like he was going to have a day out. But scores all over the shop, mate. Campbell Graham scored a double. The wingers both turned up. Murray got his try assist and line-break assist he was owed. Nathan Brown was, again, pretty massive in a well-beaten side. Maddo, pretty consistent as well. Cookie updated pretty nicely, mate. But, yeah, plenty of questions to be answered by Para next week, and Mitch Moses will have to step up now. D. Brown is gone.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, that's what I'm hoping for this week. Obviously, with D. Brown out, I am hoping that Moses kicks in because, look, he hasn't been bad, but he just hasn't been as good as we thought he would be at the start of the season. I think he had a couple of good games there, pre-COVID and then just after COVID. And, just sort of disappeared a little bit. So we might need him to battle out for a contract again because that seems to be when he plays footy. G'day to the boys out there. We've got Clemmy, we've got Otis, a couple of other Bennies joined us as well. So g'day, boys. Jump to the next game, Bogan, the first game on that Friday night. And
Titans with the upset over St. George, mate.
I didn't think this was an upset. Honestly, like they sort of let out during the day that DeBellin had been charged and stuff, officially charged, and would go to trial and stuff like that. So look, I mean, I actually thought the Titans would get up in this one, but actually catching a fair bit of this game, the Dragons just had all kinds of pressure on the Titans on their own line and probably should have won by 20 or 30, but they just couldn't get that attack right. So Titans, real great effort from them. And nice reward there for Holbrook. Obviously, the coach, he's had his contract extended for a couple of years. So that's good to see there, mate. But, look, we've obviously seen a few players like Brimson and Kelly step up in the past couple of weeks for the Titans. Anyone who's got them as pods, they're sort of holding up their end of the deal, which is good. McInnes seems to keep playing well, mate, but probably not the highest scoring game he's had, but still solid with that 65 range.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, Brimo's looking like a good pod for the run home. For he's not cheap now. He's still 540k. BK we talked about, and even Jamal Fogarty, mate's looking better every week. I don't know if you could pick him at halfback at this stage of the year, but probably redeemed himself with that try after getting run down by Big Papa last week. But yeah, it was an interesting game. It was only 2-0 at half time, and it looked like St. George might have got the job done, but a couple of quick back-to-back tries for the Titans got them home in the 74th, 76th minute. So it was good to see. I think the Titans will be looking like they're going to be a better outfit next year, obviously with a couple of big signings, but they're possibly not the walkover we all once are used to seeing, I guess, and possibly not just a matter of picking players playing against the Titans as a captaincy option anymore.
Now, obviously we into one of the boys there last week about Bowie Firma and what his actually name is. Mate, is he an option? Like, scored 72 points there, and that was, I'm pretty sure, with the HIA as well. So, mate, a little cheapy option, but could this bloke turn into a genuine starter for the Titans for Supercoach players?
I don't. What, for the rest of the year, or are you talking next year?
Oh, mate, look, you look at the last 3 rounds. I'm just thinking if a lot of people, we look at their last week, there was a lot of pressure there with obviously SJ out, a few other key outs and that going into the week. There's a couple of people in my leagues who sort of had 15, 16 players. I mean, if you turn into that situation and you got to play someone, or if you got sort of 18 or 19 and a couple of those hard decisions for the last 1 or 2 players, is he an option?
Oh, probably not. I mean, they've got Proctor out at the moment. I don't know how much longer he's got out. It doesn't look like he's going to be an AE nightmare, though, which is good. Like, he should still, even if he only plays 30 or 40 minutes, he'd probably pump out 30 or 40 points. As long as he's playing AE, I guess possibly. I thought one of his earlier games was possibly one of the worst defensive efforts I've ever seen from a back row in my life. But I think they were playing Melbourne or someone like that, so fair's fair. Who have they got out? They've got, Jai Arrow's possibly going to come back into the side, and obviously they've got Proctor as well. So I don't know exactly where he sits in that whole food chain, but I don't know. Probably not going to play him unless you're desperate.
I just think he's moved ahead of a few blokes like your Keegan Hipgraves, your Whitbreads, there's just a few guys there. I think he's actually, climbed that rung ahead. I know Peachy's probably another one there. They've played him at 13 lately, and he had a good game on the weekend. But maybe it's just a spot of his to keep, or maybe keep these guys out for the last couple of games of the year. But anyway,
I mean, he got 30 of those points from attacking stats as well. So he's had a try assist, a line break, and a line break assist in that as well.
Yeah. Friday night footy, Bogues, second game there, and
it's still fantastic to be someone who doesn't like the Broncos.
58-12. Wow. Well, I mean, bit surprising for all of us. I definitely thought. Look, during the game, I wondered how Teddy ended up on the points. I thought maybe he was probably 20 or 30 points less than the 180 odd that he ended the game on. So I don't. The downgrade didn't really surprise me, but how it did surprise me is what I actually thought they would have missed a bunch of tackle bust and stuff because there was 4 or 5 runs there. I think he makes 4 or 5 tackle breaks each run as well, and I just thought that might have been the chance to be the 200 mate we've all been waiting for. But unfortunately, a little bit of a downgrade there for Teddy. And they talk about scoring, mate. Do you think they've gone to only adjusting the scores once now?
Nah, I think they try to do it less frequently, but maybe now at this point of the year they might be. You could be onto something. I know earlier in the year it probably was changing a little bit more, but maybe just given, like I said, what's on the line and everything like that, they're trying to be a bit more disciplined in that area because, like I said, with those blokes at the top end, there's a fair bit on the line. So I think, they do some revisions throughout the weekend and then they do some on Monday between, I think it's like, 10 and 12 or 11 and 1 or something like that before lockout ends. So, yeah, you might be a couple at most, hopefully. But, Teddy was huge, man. It goes to show. Yeah. It goes to show, as good a player as he is, having those guys back in that back line like Tupu and Josh Morris and Brett Morris to finish those things off for him. And, from a Supercoach perspective, he's not getting the points he's getting without those guys doing what they're doing. The finishing of, like I said, Tupu and Brett Morris and what Josh Morris was creating, as good as he is, he's not getting those scores without those guys. And that's probably proven in the last few weeks as well, where he's only been really scoring 60s. So they make a big difference. A big difference.
But, mate, from this game, like you say, he was huge. Tupanua, wow. He just ran over the top of guys at will. And we're talking big boys in Fafita and things like that. So he had an absolute crack of a game. Joshy Morris down that left-hand side, him and Tupou just had an absolute field day. Whenever they went left, they just found space and line breaks everywhere. Nice junk try for Brett Morris there at the end, mate. Helped me out because I brought him in last week and he never really saw the ball until that last 5 minutes. So, pretty happy with that. Shout out to Daniel in our invitational league, Jesus FC. He actually brought in Kyle Flanagan this week. He's a diehard Roosters fan, and he was determined. We were having a chat during the week about it. I just said, mate, why are you going Flanagan? And I can't remember who he dropped it to get there, but he brought him in on that whim, thinking they'd go huge. But let's see how they go against Canberra this week. I'm not too sure.
Well, he kicked 36 points worth of goals, so he's lucky they scored 10 tries or whatever it was, because otherwise he probably would have scored 50 points, 60 points. But
mate, I think that's just one of the situations where you're playing the matchup, isn't it? Like if you're going to burn a trade, I mean, I'd want it for more than 90 points, but it worked out for him, I guess.
DFE was big David Fafita in a well-beaten side, mate, 94 points. That try he scored was from out of nowhere. So anyone that got on him when he returned has been paid massive dividends. He's still pretty affordable if you want to risk him. As I said, it was hard to pick him up in such a terrible team, but he's just proven he's all class. So he's still possibly a good pod for the run home. I think, this week they play Penrith. It's not ideal, but, if he's done what he's just done against the Roosters, there's no reason why he couldn't do it against the Panthers as well. But I think their fixtures are a little bit better after Penrith this week. Carrigan again, solid as. And Takiaho, mate, he got rested, so that would have burnt a few people. He didn't play many minutes at all, so there's plenty of people looking to bring him as a bit of a pod in the front row, and he got sat down and didn't come back on. So India scored 28 points. That would have been absolutely killing a few people.
Starting the game in that first 15 minutes, I just thought he was going to go huge. He was active up the middle. I think he created a line break, and arguably, I think he made the offload for the try that was it? Oh, maybe Tedavano or someone scored. But mate. Look, obviously he got rested. Did he get injured? Did he have a HIA or anything like that, or did they just genuinely complain?
No, I think I saw some quotes that Robbo just sat him down. Said, what we've done the last few weeks, they can afford to give him a rest, so he got rest. He got a rest.
Otis in the chat, Stephen Crichton is still worth getting at 500k. Otis, mate, I've got him. And really, you can look at the whole Penrith team and they're worth having. This week, Brian To'o is going to feature in my trade-in. So, but Crichton's probably the one who has the least amount of base out of that sort of whole Penrith backline. So I'd be avoiding him if you didn't already have him. And To'o at sort of 15 grand cheaper, even up to Mansour at 80k more. He's probably a better go. Saturday games, mate. The 3:00 game there, we had
Warriors,
I think.
Fire at the moment.
Mate, Hampton, what's going on? Talk to me about this one, mate.
Just didn't show up, mate. I think definitely the better team won on the day, and we never looked like beating them. So, I don't know, they've done it a couple of times this year. They haven't shown up in the first half, and they've at least managed to turn around in the second half and make it a bit more respectable. This is the first time we've had a blowout. They really give it to us. Massive. I think, it's good to see. There's still a chance to make the top 8. They've been awesome. Toddy Payton's done some huge things for them, but as a Knights fan, it's just vintage Newcastle. Just promise so much and deliver so little. I think that win would have locked us into the finals. It would have been sweet. Possibly still push for a top 4 with games in hand. But now it's sort of like, well, it must win this week against Cronulla, or danger.
Mate, it's just a tough one because I know obviously you're missing some personnel and stuff, but you really don't. You're not missing out of your spines. Your big gun up front, David Clemmer. You can argue that you're missing Daniel Saifidi, but they should still be able to take care of a team like the Warriors. Or you'd like to think any team outside that top 8 that they can, they can get the money over. But mate, they're just lazy. Just I don't know, didn't turn up, mate.
And credit to the Warriors, mate. They played really well. Sheck was obviously massive there. You can see with his 123, he scored a double. It was vintage Sheck, a couple of those tries. All the backs had a field day. Tavanga got a pretty good junk time try for owners at the end there. So he added, nearly 30 points under his score. Hiku, we talked about it. Hiku's good, creates from absolutely nowhere, a couple of those flick passes. But yeah, massively disappointing for us. Clem got binned at the end there, so that hurt his score, but he did play some big minutes. So still good signs there. Barnett obviously went off for a while there. Harris also went off for a while there. They both returned, but that impacted their scores. But
Barnett,
mate, I
so
don't
clear
know.
they're talking about him all good to play.
He should be sweet. I think it's a sternum or a rib, and he might get needled and wear a brace or something, but he should be sweet. But yeah, I think, that whole Adam O'Brien focusing 80% on defence, 20% on attack, they might need to look at that because that's sort of gone out the window with this one.
We're up against each other this week. The Sharkies up against your boys. And dead set, I thought to myself, looking at my team there today, I thought maybe I'll go the sneaky captain on Ponga, after a down week this week. But then I looked up his form against Cronulla, and the last 3 games are 38 points, 30 points, and 0. It was a game last year where he got injured within the first 5 minutes. So they don't seem to be a too good a matchup for him. But, mate, he needs to do something because if you're going to get paid those big bucks, you need to be forget Supercoach. I don't know. He's not finding the ball enough.
No, I agree. I think they've got to get the footy to him way more. For what you'll be the $1 million man next year. So you can't be throwing up that sort of shit in must win games like those ones. So anyway, credit to the Warriors. Good to see them do well. I hope they continue on there. It would be awesome to see them somehow climb into the finals, mate. Hopefully my boys can
lose their last 4, and the Warriors win. Fuck off. Good. Oh, I can take that. Well, mate, if they're going to make it the Warriors, it's either my boys or your boys. One of them is going to miss out at their expense.
Could be a big game this weekend, mate.
5:30 game, and it was my boys Cronulla getting up over the Cowboys. Pretty straightforward this one. Sharks were in control probably for the last 70 minutes. The first 10 minutes, the Cowboys were going all right, but just not enough depth there at the Cowboys at the moment. Michael Morgan went off injured. We saw that. Mate, you mentioned Jesse Ramian. He copped a poke in the eye and basically tried to come back on after a HIA, but took off and didn't come back after half time.
Fucking slug.
Britton Nakora. He just needed a couple of weeks off, didn't he?
Oh, and that pisses me off. He takes Talakai's spot, who I brought in 2 weeks ago, and then Ramian fucking goes off injured. Talakai comes on and scores 70 points in his fucking position. So, yeah, that made me a bit sick because Ramian was a massive pod. Probably Talakai was as well, even though I didn't play him. But, yeah, Nakora was fucking unreal. He showed what he was doing last year. I've been wondering what was going on with him because last year he was one of the best back rowers in the comp.
Mate, exactly right. But this year, even like pre-COVID, he'd never even started off the season that way. Right from the start of the year, he was just, shit player. But that's what we wanted to see from him. So,
and that's obviously with no SJ either, mate. That's just running off Trindle, who looked pretty good as well. He takes the line on a bit and creates a bit of attacking, threat out there for him. So that was really good. And Will Kennedy as well. I think he just looks more and more a fullback every week. I think you can get Matt Moylan, and there's your, reminds me so much of David Peachy, mate. In a lot of ways.
Yeah, mate. Take the money you're paying for Matt Moylan, piss him off. Take the money you're paying for half these blokes that costing too much for feeder and whatever. You could turn that Sharks team into a good team. I think they've got a good base there for seasons to come. But for the Cows, mate, look, not really too much to talk about there. Obviously, anyone who's got Kyle Feld, I'm not too sure how many would, but he scored a couple of tries. But no Tamalolo there, mate.
Talked up Joshy Maguire, mate. He did end up getting 80 minutes on the weekend, but the base just wasn't there. He only scored 48 points, and that was all base. So I don't know what happened there. Like I said, the minutes were good, so that was good, but just didn't get the output in the end for whatever reason. Maybe it was a fisticuffs at halftime. his dick shriveled up or something. I'm not sure, but otherwise Val got a bit of an assist at the end there, but he's been named at fullback again, so maybe you're probably not going to be able to bring him in, but in drafts and things like that, he could be a little sneaky. But I think surely their best side would have been Morgan, Drinky, Val at one, but now Morgan's going to be out. So, not much happening now. Low gone. So, anyway, your boys got the job done.
That's it. 7:30 game on the Saturday night. I can't remember who played. What, Penrith and where?
Penny West.
Mate, Penny, they just get the job done, don't they? They weren't probably at their best for the first half, but then they really kicked into gear in that second half. Mate, we saw a few junk time tries. We mentioned Brett Morris. We mentioned Jazz Tavanga. Obviously, Joshy Mansour went over for one in this game. So
feels good to finally fucking get one. I have to sit and watch fuckers get them every fucking week the last 2 weeks. It was like, oh, finally. That feels good.
Brian, what an awesome comeback for this kid.
How good.
Scoreboard. Basically just showed what we'd been seeing from his whole sort of debut season. The tackle busts are awesome. He gets involved. Made a 480k. I'm going to bring him in this week. I'm going to trade Latrell to him and hopefully up against the Broncos. I tell you what, I'm even going to chuck the sneaky VC on him and hopefully he scores 3 or 4 tries.
Well, that's fucked because I was probably going to bring him in this week as well.
All us winners think alike, mate.
No, I think like we said for weeks on end, it's just if they got a Panthers jersey on, you're probably pretty right to bring him in. That game they were in a bit of an arm wrestle early. Whilst it didn't look like the Tigers were ever going to win it, they stuck with them for a little while there. But it's just like once they get the roll on and they score a couple of tries, they just turn into flat track bullies. They just absolutely run all over whoever it is and just pile on the points. So, again, all those outside backs, the halves, the Y, again, he was pretty pivotal for him in turning it around.
Mate, he's moving into Luai's moving into Lomax level of hurt. Like not having all season, getting rid of Luai fucking 200, 300k ago.
I would nearly trade him. Like I was so close to trading him, and for whatever reason, I think I copped an injury or something, and I couldn't. It might have been after the Titans, or I don't even know when it was, but the last couple of weeks with SJ being out, he's been very nice.
Yeah,
so I've actually got that one, which was good. But no foul again, mate. For all the people talking about not get rid of him with their hard draw and everything like that. He's pumped out, back-to-back tries against two of the the best teams in the comp. So I think he's got a couple better fixtures for the next couple of weeks.
The try for this in the first 5 minutes, look, it was off a kick. So, he only got the straight up 17 points for it. So he still had to work for the rest as well. And I think there was a line break in there, a few tackle busts here or there. But, mate, just a hard worker. It doesn't matter who the opposition is. So provided he can pinch 1 or 2 of those attacking stats again, he's always going to score you that 60 or 70. So,
he was good. And like I said, a couple good fixtures for him now. Bit of a reward for him that held him as well. But like I said, all those Panthers backs, bring them in. It was a bit of emotion this one. It was a good match. So and then Sunday, mate, it was Melbourne giving a big purple sausage to the Eels. Yeah,
Benji, mate. Just obviously the thumbnail we put up there this week, mate. It came out today that he won't be at the Tigers next year. So. Not too sure, obviously, whether retirement gets announced at the same time or what's happening there, but definitely a good career to, I guess, get back to the Tigers where it all started.
Yeah. I think Bogan and I were talking about it a bit earlier as well. Had he stayed on, not gone to Union and done that stint over there, he probably would have been a 300 gamer and possibly one of the greats. Depending on what he did, he's shown that he can still produce at the top level. I think. I saw something today saying he still thinks he's got plenty to offer and still wants to play on. So whether he finds another year somewhere there and then ends up in some sort of mentoring role with the club, I think it's a good outcome. It's been good to watch him, mate. That obviously that grand final against the Cowboys, that flick pass will be, go down in history forever. It'll be on the highlights reels forever. But probably change the game for a lot of. Young guys coming through the way he plays, guys like Ponga and that now, they probably would have idolised guys like Benji growing up. So, good on you, Benj.
Mate, like you say, the Sunday footy, Melbourne Storm, mate, got the job done over Manly. Mate, I wouldn't say Manly were. Man, I don't know what's going on with Manly. Like the last 3 or 4 weeks, they've just been miserable. What 4 or 5 weeks ago they were in the 8,
Yeah,
and now
speaking of
lost 5.
Benji, there is some whispers that he might go to Manly. So
there you go.
Oh, they're lacking at 6. Cade Custer, I'm a fan of him, but maybe he just needs some sort of regular game time because I don't know whether he's got his legs under him at the moment. But Benji,
I think
Benji would probably be a good.
I'm a huge Benji fan. I think he'd be an asset at any club. I'd actually like to see him because he has been such a good representative of New Zealand. I'd like to see him go to the Warriors. Like, I don't know if there's any talk of it at all, but I think that'd be a good place for him to finish his career. I think if he wants to play on, he's probably going to go to England though. So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, but sorry to interrupt.
Back here, mate.
Back to the results.
Buddy. Mate, huge game here for the Storm with regards to Supercoach. Josh Adokar, we really hadn't seen this game so far this year, and I'm seeing everywhere on social media, I'll get him in, and I can't think of anything I'd prefer not to do is get Josh Adokar in, mate. Thoughts?
Oh, what I will say, in the last couple of weeks, he's looked a better player. Whether it's, like I said, there's talk about this contract, him moving to another club and he wants the fullback, whether he's trying to prove, that he has looked like he's been running a bit harder the last few weeks. But, buy him at your peril. He'll possibly get you 28 or 30 or 130. He's only done that once this season, but, they play South this week, and after that it's Cows, Tigers, Dragons. So you could throw caution to the wind. It's just he's not cheap now. So, about 8 weeks ago he was under 400k, closer to nearly 300k probably. So, well done that anyone had him on the weekend. Plenty of points there. I think he had scored a double, set a couple up, tackle bus galore, a few line breaks. Run an absolute mark out on that left edge with Pappy. Little Pappy out there who had...
Combination looks really good on that left with Pappy.
Yeah, so Olam obviously was a big benefactor of that one as well, scored a hat-trick. Munster pretty quiet considering what those boys are doing out there. Everyone else scored those big hundreds on the left, but yeah, it was no good for Manly, unfortunately. Smith was quiet, Hughes was quiet, Munster pretty quiet all on their return. They didn't need to do too much. I guess Munster updated pretty nicely there. Fanua Blake scored a pie, which bumped him up a bit, which is pretty good. He's possibly, I think, a buy.
I like that.
That ball from Tapau.
Yeah. It's always good to, mate. It's always good to see two front rowers fucking combining to get a try like that.
That's good. I like Fanua Blake as a bit of a pod for the run home too. I know he doesn't play the minutes, and it might be a bit out there. He's pretty low ownership, but he does find the pies. And he does have a ceiling on him, like if he can get that offload going and he gets the tackle bus and all that sort of thing. So he's pretty cheap. Obviously, I don't think you can go you can't afford Haas. For instance, if you don't have Haas, I don't think AFB is an alternative. You still got to try and get Haas in if you don't have him. But maybe something different for people for the run home if they're start looking at stuff.
And the last game of the week, we saw the Raiders get up over the Doggies. Had to do it the tough way, come from behind at halftime. Doggies led 20-12 at halftime and probably had the most dominant start of the second half with that sort of first 5 minutes until I don't know. It was weird. Obviously, Tommy Starling, who scored a couple of tries, mate, copped a sin bin. But it seemed to waken up the Raiders. Jackie Whiten just turned it on after that. Mate, his footwork, his attacking the line from 5 or 10 metres out. He picks off the weaklings. He picks off a slow forward. He picks off a slow half. The only thing I'm probably disappointed about with Jackie is, and I've spoken before about how he's a big game player, but the defense of the teams that are obviously much better teams, he can't do that against. So he plays well, and his impact on the game's good. But you look at he scored 3 doubles this year, 2 against the Titans and 1 against the Doggies now. So I think there's definitely room for improvement for Jack. But for obviously Supercoach players, I think a couple of the boys in the chat there mentioned they've got him, and he's been helping them for the last few weeks. He's in good form.
Yeah, I think he was a buy 3 weeks ago as they went into Brisbane, and he only scored 40. He bottomed out about 400k for 12. And he didn't do much against Brisbane, but the last 2 weeks he's produced back-to-back. So anyone that got on him then has reaped the rewards there with a 95 and 109 on the weekend. But, I've seen him, I think in that Titans game, he was on 87 at halftime and then finished on 95. So he was a bit better in the Dogs game.
Funny.
He'll do something where he produces 70, 80 points real quick and then does nothing. Yeah, I agree. Gomez, yeah.
Both the Titans game, he scored doubles in the first half.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And then ends up not even cracking the ton in the first one. So, anyway, I think it would be a good test to see him up against the Chooks this weekend. Like you said, I think he did in the grand final, but grand final replay this weekend should be good. A couple of big inclusions for the Chooks. Still a few out for the Raiders, but they look really good with Starling at 9. It'll be good to see him start there again.
Yeah.
And I think we ended up getting Bogan home in the end, Starling with that double on the for and against over Kando in draft, which we'll get later. But so the Raiders still just plodding along. They're probably under the radar a bit, I reckon, Joshy, because of all the other, Para, Penrith, Chooks, Storm, they're plodding away. So it'll be interesting to see how they go this weekend against the Chooks, who are nearly full strength again. And, we'll find out where they're at.
Yeah, absolutely. Mate, Johnny Bateman, I thought he was a little bit ordinary on the weekend.
Yeah, he wasn't. No attacking stats. It was pretty much all base out of him. A couple of offloads. I don't know. The combination with Georgie Williams isn't as slick. There was that game against Brisbane where he did do pretty well. That said, he's still scoring 60 points without doing too much else. So if you can just find a little bit of attacking stats somewhere, it'd be nice. But it doesn't look that crisp. He's desperate for a try. I think at one point there I saw him put a kick in for himself on the first or second tackle, and they were like 10 or 20 out, and it was an absolute stinker. So he's obviously got the white line fever. You want to finish the year strong for him, so he'll probably step up this week. For Taylor Mariner was good as well. He scored a try, scored 90 points as well. How about did you see that try? I think it was for Taylor Mariner's try with the worst call probably ever with the obstruction and was it for Taylor Mariner's try or was it someone else? There was an absolute shocker though. They had an absolute barney.
What do you mean?
One of the calls there. Oh, just with it was an obstruction. Yeah, it was just a shocker. You'll have to watch it. Like, it was so much wrong with it. There was 3 blokes in the way. It was just, Anyway, they gave it a try. It's never been a try all year, in my opinion. But, that's pretty standard. Terrible refereeing decisions. And Croker, disappointment of the year still. I think I might have said get on him a couple of weeks ago with the fixtures they had, but he's done nothing. So
living in the past, mate.
He's
on the list.
I think I started the year, like I said before, with Croker and Fergo, and then I went Croker to Masters. So I think that sums up the year. And Will Hopper was quiet too. I thought he'd be a bit better, mate.
Yeah.
Only 24 points there, which was pretty interesting, but still think he's a buy. He's bottomed out at 400k, and the Dogs have got some right fixtures over the next few weeks. Even though they're the Dogs.
Lads brought him in. So, very, very ordinary from Hopper.
Big whopper. Yeah. That sees us out, bud.
So that's the games last week. What do we got this week, Bogues? What's on Thursday night? We've got the Broncos up, don't we, up against the Penny Panthers? So a lot of people are going to have the VCs in this game, I'm thinking. Should be dry weather footy as well up here this week. So, yeah.
Plenty of maybe straight C's as well, mate. Might be plenty of people chucking a C on Cleary or whoever. Bring in, again, we said it's the same as last week. Just repeat any of those 1 to 7 from Panthers. Obviously, plenty of people on BT run too this week. I still think Crichton. You're not selling Crichton. Naden could be the one that you might pick out because everyone else is getting so much attention. plenty of people probably had enough with Ponga and going to guys like Edwards and Pappy now. So Kickout's back. He could have a day out. Obviously, Yo's out, which is pretty big for this one. I think he's only meant to be out for a week. Is my understanding, but with the concussions, it can be anything. So obviously, if it's only a week, they did have the short turnaround as well, which wasn't obviously ideal. So he should be back. I think he's a hold. That said, I've traded everyone out this season who's been out for like 2 weeks in the last 6 weeks. He'll be the fucker that I hold that ends up not playing again for the rest of the season, no doubt. So, I'm going
to sell him.
You're going to get off him at this point?
Going to get off him. Yeah, look, he's been good for me all year, but I just think that with his history of head knocks and stuff, I'm just going to jump off him for now. Mate, I'll tell you what, I've been absolutely destroyed by Fisher Harris.
That's a bad one.
Mate, that
hurts.
I was even looking at his scores today. Look, early in the season, 88, 96, a few 70s. In the last 6 weeks, his highest score has been 54. I made the decision 6 weeks ago to go him instead of Clemmer, and just it's been killing me ever since. So it's just one of those things.
His minutes has just been stripped off him.
Yeah, he hasn't probably lost that many. I think he's probably average. He normally averages probably 58 to 59, 60 minutes, and I think he's probably down to about 52 to 54. So he's lost a little bit, but even still, he's not getting the tackle bust. He's basically just trucking it up, making 20 tackles, 15 hit-ups, and that's about it. So, I just think I've sort of given up 30 to 40 points each week with him, where Clem's chucked in a couple of 90s and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I'm going to hold on to him this week because obviously Isaiah Yo's out, and maybe it just sees him do a little bit more work in the middle. But again, I don't know. I'm just hoping he picks up.
He's bottomed out now as well. He's low 400s now.
450.
Yeah, that hurts a bit. He's got that duality. Yeah. That's about all he's got going at the moment. But like we said, they're not having to do too much defending, and they're throwing the ball out wide to score all these thousands of tries. There's plenty of time he's not having to make tackles or truck it up this year as well. So obviously, Appy's on that extended bench as well. So keep an eye on team lists if you got Appy or you're looking to throw caution to the wind. And Capewell's found himself back on the bench as well. Kendo just said possibly could affect Yo on his return as well. You'll have to see what happens. I think Liam Martin's played his way into that jersey since Capewell's been out, so it's been his to lose now. I don't think you could take it off him. So you'll have to see what happens with Capewell and Yo over the next few weeks.
Mate, Martin looks awesome, and that combination with Clear on the right-hand side, mate, they're finding gaps everywhere, whether it's an inside ball, whether it's, really good play.
Friday night, big showdown, mate. 6 o'clock at McDonald Jones, Newcastle Cronulla. Look out! Stinker of the week. This will be the letdown of the week.
Surely there has to be a challenge on this one, fellas.
Fuck off! Oh,
what are we doing?
I don't know.
Come on. Any suggestions,
Bogan? Any suggestions in the chat? I'm not fucking eating cat food. I can tell you right now.
Fucking cat food, yeah.
Fucking.
We'll figure out something.
Any suggestions? Oh, look, I'm not going to say I'm not confident. You got no halves there. Chatty's back, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm not going to say I'm confident because fuck me, Dad. Anytime I get confident with us, we just don't produce.
You just got to be
skull milk.
You got to be.
I'm doing that as I'm fucking producing the show. I'm down in the chocolate milk.
I don't mind milk.
I love a glass of ice cold milk, mate. We're Canberra boys, mate.
I love it.
We're Canberra milk.
I'll go have a glass fucking right now, actually.
Yeah, so would I.
And we'll sort something out, Josh, if there's nothing good in it. 1 litre.
I can do 1 litre,
mate. That's easy.
Easy.
Give me a 2 litre, mate.
Fuck, 2 litres.
Jeez,
right.
piece of piss.
Supercoach wise, mate. Barney's back. Man's at 9 again, so he's still making plenty of tackles. Anyone's got man. Clem got off. I think there was some conjecture around him being charged, but he didn't get anything on the weekend from that. Ponga's got to produce now, otherwise, plenty of people will probably jump off him in the next few weeks just out of frustration. Your blokes, mate.
Chat. Loser wears a dress for the show. Mate, I'd do that anyway.
That's not a bad one.
Joshy, thanks.
Have to captain MILF round 1 next year. Manas.
Oh,
What's the electrical tape challenge? Hey, do you know what this electric tape challenge is?
What is it?
What is it?
So you've seen this TikTok stuff, right? So there's this song called Drummer Boy. Oh, mate, no, it's worth it. Getting this. So apparently TikTok is huge in the Philippines, right? And so all these young Filipino girls, what they do is they basically play this song, and it comes to the chorus, and it's this drum sequence. So some of them, they'll just do the drum sequence like this kind of thing. But then there's other chicks who have got electric tape on their nipples, and then they lift up their shirt and they give you a flash and fucking dance around.
Oh, right. Fuck, you just won't want that from us. Fucking hell.
Google that shit. I'll fucking do it. Later.
I want to fucking see that shit if the Sharks lose.
Mate, it's fucking sensational. I tell you.
We'll sort something out. Post it on the Facebook page. If you don't follow that, jump on that. We'll sort something out before Friday.
Absolutely. So should be a good game. 6 o'clock.
What the fuck is the WAP dance? I don't know what the fuck. All these young blokes. Seriously, Ma, what's the WAP dance? You know what that is?
No, I haven't heard of that one. WAP dance. No. What's the next game, bro?
Shave off. Ooh.
Rabbitohs. Oh, this should be a good one. This should be a good one. Obviously, no Latrell. Really, really hurts. AJ back. Mate, the Bunnies, I don't know. They're sort of getting the job done. They're performing well. Tommy Bird just have a huge season. He's been really, really good up front for the Bunnies. And burn my tongue for saying it, they're getting plenty of help off the interchange bench there with Mark Nichols and Liam Knight. It may not be equated to scores, but these guys are having a crack at least. But, mate, I reckon Melbourne might just be too clinical for them.
I think they'll pull South back into rain here. I think Colin Matani, I know I said it off the cuff last week, but he's playing more minutes, mate. He's giving them some good impact in the middle. You know, even Mogo, such a big body, gives them some good impact. So they're still, I think, lacking that forward pack. Obviously, since Burgess and Sutton have gone, but yeah, Mitchell will be a big out. I can still see Melbourne putting them to the sword here. I think. Did you see any of that Lumi or Lummy? I don't know how to say his name. The winger, the debut winger for Melbourne.
Yeah. Look, someone put up a post on Facebook today and commented about Lumi, and I just think, mate, we're too late in the season to be looking at cheapies or looking at someone.
I know probably not. He's not the kind of bloke but I just reckon he looked good. He's like a clone of Vunivalu, but he looks a handful.
He looks a handful. For 2 or 3.
Was he?
He came through the Cronulla lower grades. We had him signed. Melbourne signed him, I think, halfway through this year or something like that. So, yeah. I don't know, mate. He looked good, but I just think he looked good on the outside of a Melbourne backline. You know what I mean? So whether there's actually any ability there, obviously he's an NRL player. So
I think it just shows there's still got plenty in the in the ranks there at Melbourne if guys are out. Obviously Nass will be out this week. Kenny Bromwich is still on the extended bench, so I don't know what's going on there, but. Munster, all the guys, Pappenhausen and Smith, if you don't have him, I think as much as Bogan probably won't like to hear it, and it might not happen, but I could still see Melbourne putting them to the sword. And
there's a good one. Hampton. Yeah. Chris Cole has come up with one. Have a look at that comment.
Shave the
head.
Shave
the beard. Get rid of the beard, mate. What do you reckon?
Oh, fuck, man. I'd look like a fucking disgrace, I reckon. What are you going to shave?
Could do then.
You got no hair anyway.
I've got nothing anywhere, mate. I'm
I do like to shave the beard.
No, honestly, mate, I'm dead set. I've got no hair anywhere, mate. I've never shaved my legs in my life, and I can barely see a hair there. So there you go. I don't know. I'll have to sum up something else. Newcastle.
So maybe Smith has a big one. I think Tino's looking real good every week as well. But Bogan, what do you reckon? Any chance boys can get this one done with no Latrell?
We turn my mic on. If they play like they did last week, they will. I think last week was the best the Rabbitohs have been all season, and I don't think Latrell is a key. He's not like an Inglis was to South. So yeah, if they play like they did last week, I reckon they'll get up over the Storm.
Well, they won't have Waka Blake sprinting in on every play to make them look good this week, so we'll have to see what happens. It could be Brenko Lee, but anyway. Yeah, so like I said, usual suspects in that one could still be good. First game on the Saturday, pencil your calendar out. Dogs Titans, absolute blinder. I still think a few Supercoach options in this one. Will Hopper, plenty of relevance still in this one. As I said, Will Hopper if you're looking for something different. Plenty of guys starting to bring in Brimo. Brian Kelly's a bit of a pod. You got RFM in there. Big Ben Farmer or whatever his name is in the back row. Avarillo's found himself on the bench there, so a bit of an AE nightmare for anyone that's got him like myself. But will come in handy. Oh, that was what we forgot to mention, Joshy. Obviously, SJ out. SJ out. Is he a trade now? Just quickly.
Yes.
Yes. So 630k. I think given their run home isn't awesome after this as well. I think you still play a couple of good sides. I think you still play Canberra and the Chooks or something like that.
Don't get me wrong. If you've got other avenues to go to, I don't think it's an emergency get out. But because at the end, we know SJ can play sort of good against any side. It doesn't really matter who you're playing against. Even if Cronulla get beat fucking 40-20, he probably sets up the 3 tries you score, So if he does come back next week, great. But if you've got blokes like Yo out, if you've got Latrell, there's plenty of other injuries out there at the moment. Yeah, he's probably not the worst thing to hold on to.
Yes, so anyway, I've got Avarillo, so I'm going to probably bugger SJ off this week now that he's out, unfortunately. But yeah, so that's probably all that's that relevant. RFM, maybe Hopper, Brimo, maybe Brian Kelly. Finding it hard to find anything that's too relevant for Classic. Otherwise, Mofoka's back on the bench there. But again, I think for Classic it's a bit far. Jai Arrow might be back. But yeah, I've got not much else on this one. Josh, are you?
Yeah, next game. 5:30 game, Bogues.
It just gradually doesn't even improve that much on the Saturday with Manly and the Tigers. No owners will be sitting tight for this one.
Yeah.
What we got, Little on the bench again. So anyone with Grant, whether he's a hold, he's a sale. Obviously, we've seen he's probably suffered on the weekend as a result of Little being there. So it looks like whatever's happened on the weekend is probably going to happen for us the year. He played 56 minutes. He scored 40 in base, and that was it. Obviously, they got put to the sword by Penrith, but for Classic, I think it's time to jump off in. If you haven't already, Manly side of things, Jakey Trbojevic probably has lost his relevance now with Big Fanua Blake and Tapau back. Bit more of that ball playing still. Fanua Blake, Tapau, probably the only other ones that might be relevant. Cherry could be a good pod for the run home, mate. I know you might not like the sound of Cherry Evans as something for the run home, but their draw isn't terrible. To be fair, the next 4 games are as good as any in the comp.
One thing, obviously, with Garrick out, he will get the goal kicking back. So
true,
maybe that's making an option. Mate, I want to get on. Look, maybe not in Classic, but anyone who's sort of going into draft, if you're after that little bit of a pod, Georgie Tafua. The reason I say that is because as much as Nofaluma has been great in attack and scoring, and him and Joey look good on that right hand side, their defense is fucking terrible. So I reckon Georgie could come out and maybe score 2 or 3 tries this weekend. He's my tip for a ton up this week, definitely.
I don't think he'll score one.
You what?
I don't think he'll score a try.
Mate, I'm going at least a double. At least a double.
Fuck. Yeah, we can't even think of a bet for the Sharks tonight, so we're not going to start with this one.
I'll go multi. Sharks into Georgie to score and a double.
And I'll go in Newcastle into, I don't know, can you bet on someone not to score?
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck.
I'll have to find something. Anyway, not much. Twel's, back in that Tiger side, but isn't getting, the big minutes like he was earlier in the year. I don't know what else is there. As I said, no owners will be looking forward to this one, mate. Maybe a few people out there that haven't got a C option sorted before this could be looking at Nofo to, bring him home because he can produce in these sorts of games. So
I've put it on him.
I didn't actually get to watch too much of the Melbourne Manly game last week too closely, but I don't know how Albert Hopewadi went. Again, he's probably not that relevant Supercoach-wise, but just from a footy perspective, mate, did you get to see any of him?
Look, I got to see a little bit of it. He didn't really get too much ball where he could sort of do a lot.
He was on that right edge, though, as well. I think that they ran an absolute muck on, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was. His defensive decisions weren't the best, that's for sure. And obviously Garrick, another young sort of inexperienced player, didn't sort of help too much either. So
it goes to show how quick, Melbourne, they come with a game plan and really target those deficiencies, don't they?
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on, and this should be a cracker, though, on Saturday night. We'll finally finish the day nicely with the grand final replay, mate, and some big ins for the Chooks. Raiders probably as strong as they're going to be with Harawira and Nero back in the side. Should be a good one, this one.
Still no Crichton.
He's extended bench, 18th man at the moment.
Mm.
And big SBW Minaz has found himself in the 17. Kiri back, so that 1-7 is probably full strength for the Chooks. SBW, mate, as I said, I think I read something today, there's going to be SBW cam. So for anyone that's a SBW fan, Fox Sports will be running a camera on him for the entire game. There'll be some sort of dedicated camera on SBW. But yeah, looking forward to this one. Like I said, I think the Raiders are somewhat gone under the radar, and they're probably as strong as they're going to be. I can't imagine they have too many players to come back. Hodgson won't be back, obviously, so we'll get to find out what they're about. Obviously, in Canberra, so it's warm.
Do we know why? Do we know why Harawira and Nero missed last week?
Yeah, it was just a clause. Couldn't play the Dogs.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so he's all
Same
sweet.
with
The other one that
Eels.
we probably overlooked. Yes, you're right. Was Big Tapane, mate. He had a blinder on the weekend.
He did.
He scored a try, obviously, which inflated it. But for the minutes he's producing last few weeks, he could be a big one for the run home.
Mate, yeah, look, the footwork's good. The minutes are good. Obviously, Harawira and Nero, just sure sort of what that takes away from him because, sort of Bateman and Whitehead are both going to play 80 minutes. So
I don't think Horsburgh will be back either. I think they've said today I think he'll be done for the year. So
yeah, that's the spring practice is going to take the whole season.
So, but this one should be good. It's sort of hard Supercoach-wise. You could still possibly chuck the C on Teddy. They're just going to be pretty lethal now. You could argue you could still chuck it on Teddy. So it'll be interesting, this one. This could be an interesting game still.
Yeah, mate, Kiri back's a huge in for him. I mean, obviously Hutchinson's been playing well, but there's definitely not been that cohesion there with the backline moves. I think it's just been the brilliance of Teddy and the rest of the backline that sort of put on the points that they have. So Kiri will be a huge in for him. Hopefully his fitness level is up there. And, mate, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people talking about Cleary. There's a lot of people talking about sort of moving it off him, but maybe Cleary Tedesco is just that perfect VCC combination this week.
Gomez is a Raiders man. He reckons Teddy will kill the Raiders. So that's Gomez, he's saying Roosters 20 plus. Maybe he's just trying to.
We thought
set
that
the
in
bar
round
higher.
3, but they came back as well, and the Raiders got them. So, the one thing about the Raiders is that they're definitely an effort team. We've said that. There's no Supercoach superstars in there. Yes, Jackie White can turn up, but he can score 20 points as well. So it's definitely a team effort in the Raiders across there.
If there's any doubt over Curtis Scott's defence, you'll find out this weekend.
Absolutely.
They will.
Yeah.
Oh, also, Benny's saying we probably missed that. SJ's 2 to 4 weeks on his groin, so he's definitely a sell. Is it?
Yeah,
is it SJ or it's a Hemi or something? So if he's 2 to 4, obviously he's got to go.
I saw that NRL physio brought that out this week. They reckon it's a grade 2 strain, 2 to 4 weeks, groin into Hemi. So basically, it was originally the groin, re-aggravated the groin, but it became the Hemi as well during training. So, 2 to 4 weeks, he's got to be a sell.
Yeah, righto. And round us out for the round, mate. We've got the Cowboys and the Dragons, so you could be forgiven for missing this one. Is there another one before that? Oh, sorry, Sunday. Yeah,
Warriors and the Eels first game on Sunday. So as we mentioned, obviously Georgie Jennings and Daniel Alvaro have to sit this one out with that clause there that they can't play their parent team. But mate, the Warriors in good form. The Eels coming off an absolute shocking loss to the Rabbitohs. Jai Field takes the position for Dylan Brown. We've spoken about, obviously, this gives Mitch Moses the chance to sort of step up and take the reins. And, I'm hoping he does it because I've got him as a pod and he's done absolutely nothing.
Who was that, sorry? Sorry, I was just reading the comments.
Mitch Moses, mate. I'm just saying.
Moses, yeah.
Weeks ago, and he's just been miserable. I thought
he could be the guy. He's got the ceiling. He's due as well. He's the one that annoys me because I started the year with him expecting him to do well, and he hasn't done well. Obviously, like you said, Brown out. So, I reckon I still just look at that Parramatta side and I can't write them off. They're still pretty strong. They had a few issues last week. I still think they can turn it around. Jai Field's still pretty handy. The forward pack's as strong as any. So the Warriors have been playing good footy as well. So this could actually be a really good game. The Eels have got to bounce back. Obviously, the Warriors are still trying to fight to make the 8. So in the context of the ladder, it'll be a good one. Maddo, possibly a captaincy option this week. Probably going to be doing plenty of tough stuff. Jazz Tavanga. Maybe you could be looking at someone like that randomly. I don't think Jazz's minutes are good enough for that, but maybe Tohu and Brown, possibly a trade option as well. So I think there'll be plenty of work for the boys in the middle in this one.
Mate, absolutely. I think that's where it'll sort of start in this game. You got 2 really, really big forward packs, and they like to be dominant. Obviously, Brownie's been awesome the last few weeks, mate, and I think he'll do the same thing again this week. Probably see 80 plus out of Nathan this week.
Oh, this is what I was reading, mate. Kando's asking the boys if he should play Kirill Whiten this week in draft. So he's made a comment earlier that the Chook's right edge is shocking for left edge back rowers. So surely you play Whiten based on that. He'll play both. He'll dump all his players to free agents and have an AE or something. I don't know. Anyway, fuck you, Kando.
That'll probably be.
And then what do we rounded out? We finally get to round it out. So I digress with Cows, Dragons. Bit of a dour one to end the weekend. I think the Dragons are still mathematically a chance of making the 8, but it's highly unlikely now.
This is that 6:30 game where I decided to cook dinner instead of football. Cows and Dragons. A few shit games this week, actually. You see a lot of the sort of bottom teams fighting each other. Mate, if we weren't fans, I'd probably even put Newcastle and Cronulla in that fucking bracket. But
obviously, Lomax owners will probably have some interest in this one. There might be some points there. Masters is back, so if Masters is meant to be Masters is the left, which is Lomax. So Lomax could score 1,000 this week.
Oh, no.
You got Holmes back at 1. Again, he's probably more of a draft prospect than Classic at this point. But with the goal kicking, maybe they can score some tries. Maguire, with the 80 minutes, still you probably couldn't overlook him, but there's probably some better options around there with better ceilings. But he'll probably consistently still score you 50 or 60, hopefully, even though he didn't even score 50 on the weekend. A few outs still in that forward pack for the Dragons. So a few, Jacob Host.
Essan, Masters and Hamaso on that left-hand side. Mate, you're right. Lomax and Ravalawa, they can score 120 each. Fucking hell.
And that'll ruin my weekend if Lomax finishes off with a ton or something, because I haven't had him all year. So,
if he scores big, I'll be losing a few head.
Yeah, I won't watch that one. But yes, McKinnis back at 13, Hunt at 9. He's named Billy Britton on the bench as well. I don't know what he's doing here. He's given Ben Hunt a rest. As it turned out, Billy Britton got absolutely KO'd on the weekend.
They said it during the week. During the game there last week. Apparently, that Billy Britton has been absolutely training the house down. That they wanted to give him some kind of reward for basically how he'd been trained. So it was more just about him and the effort rather than what the team for. So there you go.
Fuck, you see what his effort got rewarded with last weekend? Whoever it was just buried his head into the ground with his forearm under the throat. HIA gone after about 2 minutes.
Benny Hunt.
So, yeah. Anyway, I think they'll do us.
There you go. Trades, bugs.
Change places.
I'm on delay here. Can't see me on my phone, so I'm going to have to look at the
Change places.
Dufty. Yeah, Dufty's an option.
Possible. Jesus, bugs. What's this? We're going text messages.
Well, Brent
see
Hampton
him,
has
so I don't know what's
chosen a
going on.
fucking 1,000 players.
What do you mean?
So you've went Haas-back in.
I just said all
and then
possible
you've
options.
went Fanua Blake, Hopperwadi, Crichton, Teo, Brimson. So I just put your text message up.
Oh, okay. All right. I can see it now. I've got the thing up. All right. Yeah, legit. I don't have Haas, so Haas will be back in. And I think all those 5 guys, you bring any one of those guys in. I don't have any of those guys. I'm leaning towards To'o at this stage. So, yeah, that's just what I'm thinking. Give me a break.
Trade out.
I will get rid of SJ, swap Averillo up. And then I've got Jules everywhere, so I can get Haas back in. And then I could trade JSAF, Rudolph, Talakai, anyone I want really to bring in any of those other guys that money's not an issue, or who I can trade is not an issue. So that will leave me with 2 trades, and depending on what I do, anywhere from 50 to 200k in the bank to sit on, and if I need something in the head-to-head, because Classics is probably just about a write-off now. If Turbo comes back, or I need something loose, upgrade Luai to someone, something clutch at the end of the year. We'll see what happens. You?
Fair. What have I gone? Trades are Latrell to Brian Toto, Isaiah to Cam Smith. There you go.
Hey, Cam. I like it.
Yeah, mate. Just a little bit of polish.
Like it.
Obviously, a few people have still got him. A few people held on to him. I'm just thinking the run into the finals. Yeah, maybe he's ready to go. But mate, Brian Toto. Look, I actually had Mansour in there to begin with, and I just couldn't get to Cam Smith. And I just thought Brian Toto after last week probably just as effective as Mansour for 100k less. And mate, either way, look, both of them could score 150 this weekend against the Broncos. One of them might score 50. So look, we'll just see. No doubt I've gone the wrong way, and like the boys sitting there. Don't break Toto, but I probably will this week. We'll just have to wait and see. Mate, Isaiah, look, I'm going to take the punt and say that he's not going to come back in the next couple of weeks. I think they might manage him with how Penrith have been going. I think they may just sort of either, if he does come back, manage his minutes. So we'll just wait and see.
Fair call. I'll tell you what, there's no chance break even's obviously a factor at this point of the year if you bring in Smith. 169 this week.
Oh, yeah. At the end of the day, I'm just getting him in for the last 4 games. I couldn't care if it was 300 break even. It is what it is.
Yeah. No, good shit. I like them.
They've obviously got South this week, which, again, I think Cam Smith will go all right. But I think they've got North Queensland, the Dragons, and the Titans in the last 3 games after that. So I might be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure they're 3 easy teams. And I just think Cam Smith might find a few hundreds in those last 3 games.
Yeah, no, they're going to shit it in. Hopefully he gets rested.
That's the only worry with him, isn't it?
They play Cowboys, Tigers, Dragons, so hopefully he gets rested with 20 or 30 to go in each one of those. Just keep him fresh for finals.
Yeah, if he's on 120 by then, I'm fine.
I'm just going to put some doubt in the minds of you Cameron Smith owners now.
Yeah. What do we got next?
Yep.
Leagues, Bogues?
On to the group. And the group winner this week was Taylor with the Crazy Pineapples, getting her first win in the last round.
Oh, jeez. You fucking little legend, Taylor.
1,449, topping it. Currently sitting 253rd in the group, but she topped the leaderboard this week.
Well done. Congrats, Taylor.
Big Ted, absolutely bagging the shit out of Taylor all year long, and she throws in a 1,450 odd. So, well done, little one.
Dan,
and she's put up a fight.
Yeah,
Bogan. Can I just ask who topped it all last week? Because you didn't do any of this. It wasn't because I topped it last week, was it? You prick.
Topped it last week, did you?
You didn't top the group.
No, I do the Player of the Week every week.
No, because you went into all the league stuff.
Hang on. You might have topped the league, but you didn't top the group.
This is the group.
Oh, was it that bloke that scored?
Yeah. He scored 1,500.
He came third overall. That was the week before. Wasn't that the week before?
No, this is the group.
Anyway.
She obviously
there needs to be an
investigation.
investigation.
Topped the league as well.
There was a couple 1600s this week, which is massive. 2 blokes tied. And then because they tied, it goes on highest ranking and gets the weekly, I think it was. So you'd be dark if you scored 1,600 and didn't get it. So big scores. And in one of my cashies, I played the bloke that scored 5th overall, I think. The Faders or something. 1560 something. It was sick.
Gander up to 243. Gander, mate, 4 weeks ago. Trying to crack that top 100, mate. I reckon. How many points behind the 100th are you? I've got 150.
Well, if 96 is on 19,850, he's 135 odd, give or take.
Yeah.
It's very makeable.
Mate, he could top the group. He could top the group. He's solid. He's squad solid. So, provided he doesn't make any stupid mistakes like mostly me and you would do, mate, he'll go all right.
Yeah, but you probably want to switch off from here pretty soon, I reckon.
What do we got next?
So the BJ on GameDay, League. So
Yep. All right. So Crazy Pineapple.
Taylor got the top score on that as well, obviously, and Kane Anderson finished the season unbeaten in the head-to-head.
Undefeated. 14 from 14.
Well done,
Kano. Well done, buddy. So, all right. So, who we got? Have you got the draw for the finals, mate, after this, or are we just going
to... No, I've got the draw
switch
for
to
the
that.
finals. So, transition to that.
Benny G, highest average score, Brent, is what the countback was. Yeah, but obviously Benny, if
Well, that will mean the highest ranked anyway.
it's Benjamin the highest ranked as well, so same.
No, I think
sort of thing.
I think they did actually write that it was the highest average score. Actually, now that he
That
mentions
is what
that.
they wrote.
Yeah.
If you're going to have average, you're going to be obviously a higher rank. So yeah. Anyway.
No,
All
not
right.
if
So
you've
Kando,
got a high
So
average
in the
and you're
BJ and Game
behind the
Day
total.
Invitational League, Kane Anderson will play Brent Hampton. I will play Josh King.
oh, why are you so
Grudge
formal,
match.
mate?
Well, this is the
Grudge match.
finals. The
Full
next
names
big
out.
degree of
I hope you know the full names of everyone else still here.
Kane Anderson
I'm
will
waiting.
play Brent Hampton.
Macca will play.
What's Macca's
yeah.
last name?
I think
Macca.
Macca might be his last name. He will play Daniel with Jesus FC.
Daniel Trubarek. I can't say. I don't know what your last name is.
Trubarek.
Trubarek. Some fucking wog name. And then who we
Adrian,
got? Adrian
and
Orosaurus
then
Rex.
Adrian up against Marty. So some big
who's who?
matches in the BJ and Game Day Invitational.
Mate, that's a good top 8. I still think it's an absolute fluke that we all finished in the top 8. The season we had, it wasn't that flash.
No, it wasn't good.
So unlucky boys who missed out.
Well, it was a
too.
close top 8 apart from Kane Anderson, who fucking whooped everyone. But all the leagues were quite close, as we'll see in the next one that I'll go to right now. So Ella's Roosters won the round with 1,368. And as you can see there, 3 teams, no Brent Hampton. 3 teams got got 20 points to finish on top of the ladder, with Polly's Pocket Rockets getting the... We can't call it the minor premiership in Supercoach, can you? Because they have that losers bracket that they call the minor premiership. But the top of the league... I'm not going into them.
Yeah,
so the minor... Well,
the
minor premiership in the BJ All-In went to Polly's Pocket Rockets.
Hey, Matty.
Well done.
So I'll just...
Clipping Howard's Wentworth. Matty's been watching his Wentworth.
How's Queen? How's
priorities,
Queen
mate?
And our finals bracket for the BJ All In. So
you're right, Benny. You're right.
Riley.
I thought that one was the same. Mate. All good.
So Riley will be up against Trent. Psycho Circus, Josh King, he's up against the Green Machine 89, Sam. Josh Miller's dog, he's up against Paycheck.
That's Matty Ledbetter, he just joined in.
And Call Me Big Puppy, Tomo, who's up against My Tunnel Snakes.
Hey, Treno, Killer Coronas, Treno, he's the one who won our cash league, isn't he?
Yes, he's mine, mate. Yeah, Treno went to high school with Treno, so yeah, he's doing all right this year. And Benny's saying you can. Do you say what Benny's right?
Huh? Yeah, that's what.
See, I reckon that's weird because it favours. So it favours the bloke that started last week potentially because he's only played 2 rounds.
Yeah,
which is interesting. But fair comment.
You look.
I didn't think of that.
Look at the last few years where you have the buys. How many people created teams just for the bye week and try to fucking fluke the grand and stuff? So
anyway, I
what's
missed
next,
out.
Bo?
I think I missed out on this one because of Shane's 57th team knocked me off by 7 points.
Yeah, mate, it is Mrs.
I was going to say
his third team.
We haven't seen
second or third team.
We haven't seen Shane appear in the finals, so.
Shane, you shit cunt. Where are you, mate?
He is in.
You miss his team.
So here we go. We had dual top of the round with Frizzy's Generals and Pete Top Kevin Bottom. Both got 13.
PTK.
Both got 1370 for the week. And
here's Shane's other team. Foot's
And this is the
number
main
7.
league, wouldn't you agree, Joshy, with me and you finishing on top of the ladder?
It must be very ordinary, this league, if we finish top 2,
and
mate. Jeez.
very, very close because the rest of the top 8 finished on 18, except for 1-2 kick-out finished on 16. So really close. Really close on this one.
Have a go at it. So, Bogan, you're one of the luckiest there. Look at your points against, mate. It's got nothing to do with...
Yeah.
Although
Hasn't played anyone.
Points scored are up there as well. But anyway, let's not worry about that.
So,
I tell you what, look at Shano. Shano's team scored 17,000 against 16,700. So,
which one's that? Is that
that's his
Shane?
fantasy team.
I think that's his.
That's the one that knocked me off in one of those leagues, actually. That fucking pink and green thing. Fuck me, by 7 points or something, and then I missed the 8. Fucking shame.
And we go into the finals. It's myself up against Dean, Michael up against Ryan, Mark up against Shano, so Sackman up against the Footsters, and Josh King up against the Big Ballers with Tim.
Yep, cool.
And,
very good.
I'll just set up the last one. Talk for a second, fellas, while I set up the draft.
I want to talk about.
Oh, fucking talk about whatever you want. All right, that's all right. I've got it ready to go now. So last week's draft.
There we go. Last week's
Phantom
draft.
got up over Big Ginge. Psycho Circus went down to Bundy. Ted absolutely whooped Hell's Grannies. I don't know what was going on there with Wayno. Only scored 484 points. Marty went down to Kane Anderson, and I got up over Checkmate.
But you're right, Gomez. Bogues has absolutely killed it this year. He's fucking flying. He's a quick learner, quick study.
So that leads us.
Where's the league, mate? Where's
leads
the
us
ladder?
to the ladder, where I held on just by about 40 points over Kane Anderson. Both of us finishing on 24 points, closely followed by Brent Hampton. Big Ginge, who missed our draft draw night, so he started from having just the default players that came up in his draw, so he's done really well. And Mana with Checkmate fills out the top 5.
Benny, great fill of chat. It was fucking up there, Benny.
Good, Benny.
Well done, Bogan. Inaugural draft minor premiers. Kando wanted it too.
I limped in with the fucking wet sail, that's for sure.
Hang on. Let's have a look at this as well. Look at the points against for me. No one else has got it start with a 12. I've got fucking
that just means your team was weak, doesn't it? Like, let in that many points.
Yeah, Kando's
fantasy football.
Kando's for it against his 12,700 on 11,100. So, yeah, it's a very average team. Big Ginge, he's got to be the lucky one in there. -4 against the
Well, Marty's scored only 100 points less, and he's had 3 wins for the year.
Yeah, shit. Ginge, very, very lucky. Where's the draw, Bogues? So you get the buy in the first week, Bogues.
That means Teddy and Lomax are going to fucking score squillion points this week when I don't need them to. But it's Kane Anderson versus Brent Hampton, and Big Ginge is up against Mana.
So you got the elimination with Big Ginge and Mana. Hampton and Kano, one gets a second chance.
Yep.
And then the same going to that next week. You get a second chance for top 2. Okay. Very good.
And
what else you got, Bugs?
That's it. If you want to ask if the chat's got anything.
King Bogan, come off.
Oh, mate, I think my luck's run out. As I said, I fucking only just limped in. I think I'll be lucky to fucking. I got to play either yourself or Kane Anderson. So I'm happy just to claim the minor premiership.
Rant time, Bogan.
Rant time. What do you
Rant
want me to
time.
rant about? There was one thing.
What are
There
your
was one
thoughts
thing
on
that
SBW?
Craig Bellamy came out during the week and said, all these injuries that teams are having is because we're playing too many games, and we don't get a break, and there's no bye week or origin." And I was fucking infuriated by it, because manage your fucking players, rest your fucking players. Like, that's what teams used to fucking have to play a midweek comp back in the day. They had to play on fucking Wednesdays as well as Saturdays and Sundays. Bring back the Panasonic. Bring back the Panasonic. Bring back the Panasonic fucking cup. And you manage your fucking players. You're the fucking coach. If you think the players are playing too much, rest them.
Does that brand even exist anymore? Panasonic?
I think
I've
it's
got a
still
Panasonic
around.
TV. It's pretty fucking old though.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
But yeah, so
bit of a throw.
I had the shits about that. Well, I didn't have the shits, but I thought, no, fuck you, fucking getting paid millions of dollars. Oh, we're playing too much in a fucking shortened season. Get fucked. Anyways, so there's my rant.
Nice, Bogan. What about on Origin
Nice and
staying
quick.
postseason?
Postseason. It was
Yeah, Matty, we'll
discussed
get you.
before we went live. Joshy, BJ on race day. Not happening this year?
Not happening. I need an off-season, boy.
Over.
Yeah. I got to stay off the punt, so I'll stay away from the race.
No, you can't use the show as an excuse to browse the form guide anymore.
Mate, take out a second mortgage just to fucking fund my terrible habit. I'm out.
There'll be Big Bash and all that, and NFL starting up, and EPL starts, so plenty of things.
Shano's got us in this NFL fucking draft, and it's on this Saturday. I got no idea. I'm just going to go to the Big Ginge and Hell's Granny's approach and just let it auto pick for me. I think I know about 6 friggin' players in the NFL, and that's about it. So it's not like I'd have any idea
they
what I
probably
was
won't
doing.
end up playing anyway. A few more fucking police shootings, and they'll go on strike as well.
I'm going Bobby Boucher, pick one. So.
Yeah. Juju Schuster, he's the only one I know. Juju Schuster. Yeah. All right, boys and girls, thanks for joining us for another episode. BJ Game Day. See you, boys. Benny, Gomez, Shano, Matty, all you lads out there, cheers for joining us. We'll catch you all next week.
Thanks, guys.
Well, hold on. Sorry, fellas. Way to ruin a good ending.
Hey guys, Joshy here. Thanks very much for joining us for another episode of BJ on Game Day. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the... if you do want to follow us on Facebook, you can find us there at BJ on Game Day, and on Twitter, we're at BJ on Game Day as well. So, guys, we'd really like your support with that. Follow us so we can know you guys are enjoying the content. Thanks very much.